And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Okay, a high wind warning remains out here for the Aleutians for tonight and tomorrow for strong winds gusting anywhere from 70 to possibly as high as 100 miles an hour, and that would be around Adak if that were to occur. Otherwise, we've got a high wind watch out now for another storm that's going to track northward off the southeast coast tomorrow. So there's a high wind watch out here for gusts to 60 miles an hour along the central coast of the Panhandle. And on the chart, there's that storm right there that's going to be tracking northward and a big plume of moisture coming up with it. So another round of heavy wind and rain coming into the southeast coast starting later tonight and through tomorrow. Clouds here over the interior, breaking out down toward the southwest coast, Kodiak Island area, and some light precipitation occurring in areas of south central Alaska, Prince William Sound, and the eastern Copper River Basin. Out to the west, here's that very intense storm system out there, the low center now coming up between Shemya and Adak. Winds gusting over 60 miles an hour at Adak so far, and 55 to 60 miles an hour to the northeast there at Shemya. And rolling this through again, you can see that probably is going to track just to the northwest, or to the northwest and then north of Adak, and then slow down before it makes another jog to the south later on from the Bering Sea. So it won't be tracking right up into the Bering Strait by any means. But today, 945 millibar low there, bringing the strong winds, hurricane force winds in the forecast for tonight for the central Aleutians. And otherwise, good storm warnings there. And where there aren't storm warnings, there'll be gale warnings out that way. But a break in advance of the storm here, high pressure with light winds, dry conditions, some sunshine over the southwest part of the state and the Kuskokwim Valley, Kodiak, Alaska Peninsula. A few isolated snow showers with that weak trough there in the northwest, and some light snow along the north slope in the Arctic coast. And some light snow also due to this low, this old system pulling westward here and kind of just setting up and stalling out in the Gulf of Alaska. And that keeping it cloudy with some light precipitation across, from the central Alaska range down southward into the Prince William Sound area, Portage, Whittier, but north winds keeping it dry for Seward there. And not a bad day, some showers exiting the Panhandle earlier today, giving way to dry conditions with light winds. Here's the next storm down here to the south that tomorrow, or for tonight, will be beginning to bear down on the coast here with increasing wind and rain late tonight there along Prince of Wales Island. Otherwise, a pretty nice evening for the southeast coast tonight, and still some light snow possible, maybe pulling a little farther to the west into northern Cook Inlet, Manuska, maybe sit in the valley with showers down into the southern Kenai Peninsula. Stays fair with light winds here over the southwest part of the state, Nunivak Island down to the Alaska Peninsula area. Not too bad in the interior as well. Weak trough keeps some light snow going along the Arctic coast there, but winds will continue to diminish. Intense storm with that tight pressure field starting to weaken now. It gets north of the Aleutians there. And then for tomorrow, continuing to slowly weaken there. Strong westerly winds across the central Aleutians, with those high wind warnings and storm warnings continuing through the day tomorrow. Front passes eastern Aleutians and pushes in toward Cold Bay. Storm force winds for the Pribilofs as well, but precipitation may or may not reach the Pribilof Islands. What does will be on the light side, but the winds will be definitely a more significant feature with this storm than the rainfall amounts will be. And still, isolated showers. Otherwise, interior Alaska, fairly dry. This low tracking northward here, just south of Yakutat, or a ways south of Yakutat by afternoon. You can see the front right along the coast. Could see gusts 60 miles an hour there on the central coast with rain heavy at times across the entire area. And then for Friday, that whole system really washes out, just a weak trough now. So precipitation ending over the southern Panhandle and just areas of light precipitation to the north, eastern North Gulf Coast, drying out south central Alaska, maybe some clearing, light winds all the way up to the Arctic coast with maybe some light snow for the north slope northward. And this system here weakening, the front bringing some light precipitation into Kodiak Island, really losing the winds here, kind of another center forming and rotating northward. The main parent low here now slipping southward and is going to take off to the southeast Friday evening and overnight Friday night, leaving the Bering Sea high and dry. And for the lows tonight out that way, in the 40s with all the wind and precipitation out there, 30s here along the southwest coast and Nunivak Island, 5 to 20 over the central interior, mostly in the teens actually. It's about 5 to 18 and 19 at the warmest, up to the Brooks Range, North Slope, back into the 20s along the breezy Arctic coast there, and in the 20s, lower 30s, south central Alaska, upper 30s to upper 40s for the Panhandle. Highs for tomorrow, mid 40s Kodiak Island, near 40 for Bristol Bay, mid to upper 40s for the Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula area, and in the 20s to lower 30s there in the interior, 15 to 20 for the North Slope and Brooks Range area, 20s along the Arctic coast. And then the Friday morning lows, 40s to lower 50s along the Panhandle, upper 20s to lower 30s south central Alaska, and in the teens and 20s in the interior. Colder though for the northern valleys up to the Brooks Range and the North Slope as well, and then teens to near 20 for the Arctic coast. Lows near 40 for the Aleutians, lower 40, or for the Pribilofs, lower 40s for the Aleutians. Highs, upper 40s to lower 50s here, Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, upper 40s Kodiak Island, in the 40s here, south central Alaska, Copper River Basin, 50s to lower 60s for the southeast coast there, warmest in the south with maybe some sunshine, 30s west of the Alaska Range, 20s and 30s central interior, and 20s for the North Slope.